guys, today I want to do a tutorial for the Letumosis spots that are in the books by Marissa Meyer, Cinder and Scarlet in the Lunar Chronicles series. This will be a prosthetic on your hand, based on the spots from the books. For this you will need some liquid latex. You only need a small bottle, not very big. This one I've got here is about 28 millilitres. You will also need some pallets with natural colours on, like those, the reds, the blues, pastel colours. Another palette with a more vibrant blue and purple, and possibly a darker red like you've got there. You also need a palette with white and black, like there. Fake blood, cream makeup, although it's not required, it's a good idea. Some eyeliner, although it's not required, and a concealer. You also need a palette with a lip gloss palette like that, same with those colours on for the end effect. Anyway, to start we take the cream makeup, well I am anyway, and you rub it on your skin. You don't need to do this, I'm only doing this because the eyeshadow does not take to my skin for some reason. But it makes it look better for effect. You rub it in with your hand. Not too much on though, just so your skin turns a bit of a lighter shade like that there, as it's just turned a bit lighter on my hand. Then you go for the fake blood. You put a tiny spot in the middle of your hand, and then rub it around to the size of the spot you want your Letumosis splotch to be, like this. Make sure you don't put too much on though, it needs to dry. Then we get, you also need a bobby pin for this anyway. Then after you've done that, you take your liquid latex and you put a little bit on, just a small blob, not very big, and you rub it around your hand in exactly the same place as you did with the fake blood, covering it over. Once you've done that, dab it down at the sides to smooth it out. This is so the latex doesn't have an abrupt end, as when it dries it will look a bit odd if it doesn't. It makes it look more realistic. This only takes a few minutes to dry, as it's only a thin layer. You can test when it's dry by touching it on the top, and if it doesn't, yeah. Okay, so next you take your fake blood again, and you put a bigger blob in the middle now. Not very big, only as much as you want this to be. Then you smooth it out around the same area, but this time it can stay big like it is there. So you smooth it around again, like that, and pat down the edges like you did with the latex. Like so. Making sure you smooth the edges down, but not as much as the latex, because it doesn't. The blood doesn't work as well. Now you take the latex and put a bigger blob over the top. Again, probably about the same amount of blood, but now with this, rub it over the top of the blood, making sure to cover the blood. But if it mixes in with the blood, it doesn't matter. It looks fine. Once you've covered over, you've got to cover over all the red, where it's stronger. Cover it over. Then once you've done that, pat down the edges like you did before. Smooth it out. Like so. Like I'm doing now. I would like to forward apologise, as I had to re-record the audio, otherwise the video was going to end up being something like 20 minutes long and there was no need. Right, so once it's all out like that, you pat the edges around. It doesn't matter if the red gets everywhere, it'll give it a better effect at the end. Just making sure that the blood is all covered over and it's patted down at the edges. Now, you take a bobby pin, and while it dries, you've got to move the latex around a bit, just so it doesn't dry flat. Once you've done this, you leave it to dry, but remember to keep doing that every now and then for the next 2 hours while it dries. Now once it's dried, you want to come back and grab your brush and your palette. You want to start off with the purple, and you take your purple on your brush and brush it right around the edges. And make sure you put a purple ring right around your circle of red, like this, right the way around, purple. Right around like that. Once you've covered the ring with the purple, you then move on to different colours like blue. You'll add the next layer of blue, and then persist with reds and browns, and then back to the blue, till it looks like a bruise, a purple-like bruise. You can do this to your own preference. Usually it best works with the purple down, then the blue, and then a bit of a red brush across the top just to make sure it doesn't look too alien to the skin. So you keep going around until you're satisfied. So that ring is there. Again, demonstrating with the other colour. Yeah, like so. Now you take your cream makeup or your concealer, and to cover up the edges, you dot it around outside of the blue ring and just rub it in. Careful not to cover up the blue colour, just rub it round, it covering your skin to get rid of the red that you don't need there. If you like the red though, just leave it there, total preference, but I prefer it without. Once you've done that, it should look a bit like this. Now once you've done that, you need to start working. Okay, no, I'm covering up the blue that I messed up. Now once you've covered up the blue and fixed it again, to blend into the now white skin, you want to take your lip gloss palette and start working in to the red. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing now. Oh right, okay, yeah, so now we're taking our palette, the red one, starting with the darkest and working in. Just to make it lighter, depending on how yours is dried, and to give it a blood effect. Moving down with the lighter colours, as you see fit. Sometimes it's a good idea to work into the edges with the brown, depending on how light yours dried. Unfortunately mine dried quite dark this time. Again, making the circle better and blending it into the blue. I'm sorry, that was my phone. Once you've done that, you can take some more fake blood, dab a little bit on the top, and just rub it in. Then you'll let most of the spot is complete. Make any finishing touches you feel necessary, like covering around again the red already left, and then you are done. Not quite. Yeah.